KGNU FM 88.5 Boulder, KGNU 1390 Denver. Stay tuned for Metro.
Support comes from Harlequin's Gardens Nursery, presenting their holiday gift market, featuring local artisan creations, houseplants, and products for sustainable living. Details at harlequinsgardens.com.
Support comes from Tara Performing Arts High School, presenting their annual Christmas Candlelight Festival at St. Aidan's Episcopal in Boulder, taking place from December 19th to the 21st, featuring seasonal choir music, handbells, and more. More information can be found on the event page at tarahighschool.org.
Real stories, real people, real purpose.
Welcome and thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Ruby Jones, and for the next 30 minutes, we'll highlight the voices, issues, and stories shaping Colorado's Front Range. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the exchange. Front Range Exchange is an extension of multimedia content published by Empower Media Exchange. We have a podcast, a digital publication, and we strengthen the local news ecosystem with support for children, students, and professionals. We believe in community connections, education, and inspiration, and we're building a better tomorrow, one story at a time. The end of the year is a time for reflection, and it holds so much all at once. It's a season of giving and a time for sharing joy with your neighbors. It's also a time when many of us are pulled in different directions. Work, friends, and family all demand our attention and our best efforts. It's a time to think about the lessons and challenges we experienced during the year, and a time to prepare for a fresh, new start. This season can be a lot, and it's important to prioritize self-care, whether that's alone time, gentle calendaring, or a little extra time spent with loved ones. This episode of Front Range Exchange on Metro highlights one organization that's so very deserving of extra support. Music is Unity was created by a Denver native turned international superstar, Mr. Philip Bailey of the renowned group Earth, Wind, and Fire. Stay tuned to hear my exclusive interview with Mr. Bailey and a special conversation with Drian, a rising star who some of you may know from season 26 of The Voice. He is an ambassador for Music is Unity, and he had a lot to say about why the organization is so very important to him. Later in the show, I'll introduce you to a local photographer making a global statement with his newly released book, Markets Volume 1. Jeff Fierberg is an iconic photographer who captures the world in a breathtaking way. He's worked with a lot of local restaurants, building an impressive portfolio of mouth-watering food shots, and he set out on a journey to explore food markets around the world. He created this super cool book project and revealed it to the public at an industry event in early December. The best part? The industry event doubled as a food drive for people experiencing food insecurity after the November SNAP delays. I can't wait for you to hear Jeff's reasoning for the food drive and how he connects it all to his international travels. Finally, you'll hear a conversation with an artist and community leader who is making a statement on stages and in boardrooms around town. Jean-Claude Futrell, who some may know as JC, has supported the local arts community through artist management and his own creations. And now he's advocating for access to arts education in a whole new way. You'll hear about it all and more today, so let's dig in. Music brings people together. It's a universal language that can stimulate, motivate, and heal. It's a form of expression and creativity, and it reminds us that we are not alone. It bridges generations, cultures, and communities. It turns emotion into connection and connection into action. One of the most recognizable talents of our time used his influence in the music world to give back to others, creating an organization that supports young people in need at a critical time in their lives. I had the honor of sitting down with the legendary Philip Bailey of Earth, Wind, and Fire, who shared his reason for creating a foundation to support young people in the foster care system as they transition into adulthood. I also spoke to Drian, the front-running singer who rose to fame on the stage of the hit television show, The Voice. He explained his own journey and why music is unity means so much. Together, they shared the mission behind the music and encouraged the public to support the organization during this year's Giving Tuesday. Here's the Denver native and East High School alum, Mr. Philip Bailey himself.
We started in 2007, and we looked for causes that were underserved and that we were passionate about. And because I'm a father of 7 and a grandfather of 7, people's well-beings are very important to me, children's well-beings. And so we investigated and found out that there were so many kids aging out of the system every year, and many of them finding themselves in precarious situations, in the system or trafficked or living under, bridges and all kind of craziness. And all because they just aged out of the system. And the government monies are no more subsidizing their foster parents. So we started to do more research on that and partnered with different organizations who are helping to change policies and that are helping foster youth navigate through this crazy world in just the basic necessities of life. And so a portion of our ticket proceeds go toward Music is Unity, and then we fund organizations that are doing the daily work that need funding. They send grants to us, and we vet them out, and then we'll support those organizations. We also do a thing that we call our backstage sound check program, and we introduce foster youth to our touring entourage, all the different aspects of it, in hopes that if any have any aspirations in concert touring. One young man, interestingly enough, his name is Drian. We met in this process, and he has his own band now. He was in the foster system, has his own career, his family, and he's actually opened for about almost a dozen or more shows for us in the last few years. And so it's good to just see that kind of thing being played forward.
Now, when you say we, I read that your daughter was an integral part of the co-creation of this organization. What
Right.
inspired you both to create this charitable organization? Why did you want to give back in this way?
Well, like I was saying, with the love that we have for our family, we had several foster youth to come to the house here, and we had a little tea lunch kind of situation. And they gave us their experience just firsthand, what they had experienced in their lives. And boy, by the end of that conversation, man, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. And we had already started our foundation, but we were very much more engaged in knowing that this was something that we wanted to champion in the long haul. We know that it's meaningful, and we've seen lives changed and hope built. So we're in it to win it.
Listening to Philip Bailey speak about Music is Unity was incredibly inspiring. With all of his success over decades, the fact that he is changing lives and creating hope is truly admirable. His decision to use what he's been given to create something that makes life a little easier for others is what this season is all about. Again, music is a bridge builder, and for Drian, it was the bridge to stardom and success on stages around the world. But for him, Music is Unity holds a special meaning. He serves as an ambassador for the foundation because he has firsthand experience in the foster care system, and he knows how important it is to support young people during a period of major transition. Drion's perspective shows that unity is more than just an idea, but it's created through advocacy, visibility, and follow-through. Hearing you talking, it's evident that you're right. I mean, it is difficult to understand the experience of someone that has gone through something, maybe difficult or traumatic that we haven't been through ourselves. And can you tell me what kept you grounded, or what gave you hope or inspiration when you were going through that yourself?
I always say the two things that kept me grounded and that just kept me together during that time was God and music. Was raised in church. I was raised around church, and that was a very fundamental part of just of my life and my upbringing. In many ways, it was an outlet as well. And so being in a situation where I'm alone, I'm isolated, I'm by myself. I don't have my mother, I don't have my family, I don't have anybody that is necessarily who I would consider a loved one or an ally. God was the only thing that I had. And in that, I found the songs of the church a lot of times to be my form of expression, and singing being, one of the few things that wasn't taken from me, or that they couldn't take from me, was my voice.
Music is Unity reminds us that what we love, especially when it comes to music, culture, and creativity, can be a mechanism for change. Giving Tuesday has come and gone, but the lessons we've learned during this season of giving will live on for as long as we remember the importance of connection. People everywhere are struggling with a high cost of living, inflation, health issues, and sometimes it's hard to find hope when it seems like the entire world is in a state of turmoil. In times like this, connection is essential, and benevolence goes a mighty long way. For Jeff Vierberg, creating connection through visual art is a practice that highlights another universal element: food. Through his international photography project, and now his newly released book, Markets Volume 1, Jeff invites us to look closer at the everyday places where people gather, trade, and survive. He captures markets around the world where culture and commerce connect, and where power dynamics are very visible in the most human way. Food access and insecurity are showcased in this project, and in a very innovative way, the photographer took an opportunity to introduce his book while inviting the community to help people in need. Hotshot Denver, an event and creative space that doubles as a coffee shop, hosted fans and supporters who were excited to get a special edition print of Jeff's artwork wrapped around a beverage can. Everyone who attended this event was asked to bring a food item to help people affected by SNAP disruptions and food insecurity. Here's a clip from our conversation and an explanation for why this event was so meaningful. So you spent a year chasing markets across continents, which is such a cool idea. How many did you visit in total?
In total, I visited a lot more than what's in the book, because I actually started working a little bit on volume 2 at the same time. And then there were some markets that I visited that didn't quite make it into the book for a couple of different reasons. But over the course of that year, I ended up in about 13 countries, and I ended up in over 20 markets.
What was it that stood out to you about market life, so to speak, that made you want to capture?
I think, for me, one of the things that I'm really interested in creating and capturing, because of where I kind of spend my time every day, is the food system, and where the food system interacts with the commercial system. I shoot a lot of restaurants in town, and I do a lot of work as a hospitality photographer. And so for me to ultimately be able to capture the moment where a producer interacts with a buyer and there's no middle point, really strips back a lot of the kind of construction and infrastructure around a food system, and makes it much cleaner to explain and to understand. I want to find those moments. And I think that's what draws us in as travelers or people who move to places. And it's the energy of those markets and the energy of those moments that I think is what everybody enjoys about a market, right? You get to see a full table of what people are up to and what people are doing. And so that's one of the things that I really appreciate about markets everywhere that I go. And it seems to be ubiquitous, right? We can always start at that point. A market is a collection of people who are selling their things that they've grown or raised for slaughter. And so to me, that's a really important kind of litmus point for a culture. And from there, we can take it and explore.
As he prepares for Markets Volume 2, Jeff's journey is a reminder that creativity isn't just about what we make. It's also about what we make possible. When we choose to see human suffering and survival as opportunities for connection and engagement, we start to close the distance between my world and our world. You're listening to Front Range Exchange on Metro, a radio show that's exclusive to KGNU Community Radio. If you value independent, local news that's made for our community, support KGNU at kgnu.org. Next, I'm excited to highlight an individual who is doing his best to make Colorado even more colorful while transforming art into infrastructure. Jean-Claude Futrell is an artist, entertainer, and community leader who recently became a director for District 4 of the Cherry Creek School District. Some know him as J.C. Futrell, and others know him by his longtime stage name, Panama Soweto, a poet and lyricist who infuses timely social messages into his art. Here's a clip from our conversation about his new role in education and his enduring work in our communities.
My big push is always accessibility, and it's not just for the arts, but it's also for career exploration and what it could look like for our young people to not just think about what they want to be after they leave school, but how they're going to be, right? And what are the resources that are available to them, and that they shouldn't be detoured by, things like the fluctuating of the markets and blah, blah, blah. It's like, what do you love? And what do you want to invest yourself in? And how can we make sure that you can be sustainable by doing it? And so, my pathway through the arts wasn't a traditional one. I just happened to, luck out and be able to make money as a performing and touring artist, as a spoken word artist by the name of Panama Soweto. But at the same time, I'm also able to sit in these boardrooms and to make some decisions that affect policy change. And so my big thing is giving more access to the arts for our kids. And that is a big focus why I'm here.
I'm wishing JC the best in all of his endeavors in the worlds of art and education, and I'm excited for the young people who will benefit from his efforts to ensure that those worlds continue to collide. Before we move on, I want to pause and add a final thought to the interviews we've heard today. When we talk about building a better future, we simply cannot treat creativity as optional. The arts help young people interpret the world. They give language to experiences we don't have words for. They build confidence. They build connection. They inspire hope. 2026 is shaping up to be a year of possibility and purpose across Colorado, and supporting arts education is a must. And now, I want to take a moment to celebrate women's leadership in Colorado. Women's leadership strengthens communities through collaboration, resilience, and long-term vision. When women lead, organizations and systems are more likely to invest in solutions that reflect the full complexity of people's lives. When so many people are seeking stability and direction, women's leadership is a reminder that power can be practiced with integrity, care, and courage, all while creating space for others to rise as well. Recently, the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce hosted the Athena Leadership Awards Luncheon, an event that honors excellence in professional leadership, mentorship, and community impact. This year's keynote speaker was Jonna Mendez, former CIA chief of disguise, whose life and leadership story is a masterclass in reinvention, courage, and shattering glass ceilings.
I worked in a part of CIA that was like the Q in James Bond. We were the technical arm of the American intelligence community, not just CIA, but written larger, all of the intelligence communities. But our most interesting work, our most clandestine work, all was for our CIA colleagues. We were formed of a group of highly educated chemists and physicists and electrical engineers, people so narrowly specific in their fields that sometimes we didn't even have names for them. That was half of the office. The other half of the office were operations people. That was me at the end. I was an operations person. I would take that equipment, take it overseas to wherever we needed it, to Russia, to Iran, to wherever it was going on. But I didn't start there. I started as a secretary. And I didn't start there. I started in Wichita, Kansas. I was a really good secretary, and it didn't take much time to be the secretary to the boss of this office. It was 1,000 people, and I've never been so bored in my life. So I had seen all this, what goes on, and now I'm at a typewriter. So I could see the Smithsonian Castle building from my desk in D.C., and I told my boss that I thought I might go over and talk to them about some kind of a job that might have some substance to it, something that could make a difference, something that would matter. And he gives me this look. And he said, I know you're interested in photography. Why don't you take some of our photo courses and stay? Don't leave, this man said. This was, you know better than I do that there is no old girls club anywhere. They don't exist. Well, this was the head of the old boys club telling me not to leave.
Judge Christine M. Arguello, founder of the nonprofit law school Yes We Can, was honored with the Athena Award this year, recognizing her efforts to provide a pipeline for high-achieving, underrepresented students to successful legal careers. And Rob Cohen, chairman and CEO of IMA Financial Group and controlling owner of the new Denver Summit Football Club, was honored with the first ever Athena Ally Award. The inaugural award recognized the importance of allyship and his commitment to creating more inclusive spaces in the workplace and the boardroom, and the obvious addition of a National Women's Soccer League team in our great state. Congratulations to Judge Arguello and Mr. Cohen. On a personal note, I'm honored to share that I will be serving as the 2026 chair of the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce Associate Board. Before we move into a brief cultural calendar for the end of the year and the beginning of next year, I want to share something I'm extremely excited about. Empower Media Exchange is strengthening partnerships that support hyper-local storytelling, and I'm stepping into an advisory role with Bucket List Community Cafe. Bucket List Community Cafe is a hyper-local publication doing the grounded, community-facing work that often gets overlooked in traditional media models. Local journalism is a critical component in a healthy, functional society, and I'm thrilled for the opportunity to collaborate to ensure that important local stories are told by the next generation of media professionals right now. To learn more about Bucket List, visit bucketlistcommunitycafe.com. Now let's look ahead. 2026 is quite literally a milestone year. Colorado will be commemorating 150 years of statehood as part of the broader America 250, Colorado 150 effort. We have an opportunity to elevate stories that create a rich cultural tapestry of the state we call home. The Colorado Women's Hall of Fame is currently accepting nominations for the class of 2027, with a deadline of February 1st, 2026. And in honor of Colorado 150, the organization is making a focused effort to recognize women from all regions of the state. Nominations can be submitted right now at cogreatwomen.org. If you know an extraordinary woman whose impact deserves to be documented and celebrated, consider this a sign to submit a nomination before it's too late. If you're anything like me, you find great joy in December's cultural calendar and the entertainment the season offers. Denver Center for the Performing Arts has welcomed back the return of a beloved holiday classic, A Christmas Carol, based on Charles Dickens' novel. And for those of you looking for a Broadway hit based on a best-selling novel and cinematic production, The Notebook is playing at the Buell Theater. Both productions will play through December 28th, but if you're the type that likes to plan ahead, DCPA's 2025 to 2026 lineup includes a full slate of shows worth putting on your radar. We've got The Phantom of the Opera, Hell's Kitchen, MJ the Musical, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and The Sound of Music heading to the Mile High City. So if you're looking for a last-minute gift or a self-care splurge, it might be worth looking into season tickets at denvercenter.org. The Arvada Center is presenting Disney's Frozen the Musical, playing now through January 4th, 2026. And beginning on January 15th, they'll be celebrating their 50-year anniversary with an exhibition that celebrates the vision that defines the Arvada Center galleries and celebrates its enduring role in the arts. Finally, Cleo Parker Robinson Dance is celebrating the holidays and the magic of the season through dance, music, and spoken word with their traditional production of Granny Dances to a Holiday Drum. The 34th anniversary presentation will be playing just a bit longer until the 21st. Before we close, I want to acknowledge the difficult truth that while some of us are celebrating, others are grieving. This week, we witnessed horrific violence at Brown University in Rhode Island and at Bondi Beach in Australia. Events that remind us how fragile life is and how much we need each other for safety, support, and to move forward after tragedy. In moments like this, it's easy to harden our hearts and isolate ourselves. But I encourage everyone listening to choose love, choose kindness, and choose community. Check on your people. Find new people to check on. Slow down long enough to see the human standing in front of you. And even if you can't fix the entire world, be a little more gentle in your corner of it. As we head into a new year, I want to leave you with a practice that has changed my outlook and approach to life, and that's choosing a word. I used to make resolutions each year and then beat myself up for breaking them. Last year, I was asked to choose a word, something to focus on and create intention around, and it was a game changer. My word for 2025 was advancement, and I lived it. Personally and professionally, I advanced through fear. I advanced through learning. I advanced through saying yes to a seat at the table and yes to walking into rooms that I didn't know if I was ready for. I advanced on so many levels. So as you look toward 2026, ask yourself, what is the word you want to embody? Is it peace, discipline, restoration, courage, clarity, consistency, wellness, joy? Whatever it is, let it guide you through the end of this year and into the next. And remember, a fresh start does not always look like hustle. Sometimes a fresh start looks like rest, like boundaries, like healing, like making room for your life to actually look and feel like your own. I'm practicing a soft season starting today, so don't call me, I'll call you. This has been Friend Range Exchange on KGNU Community Radio. I'm Ruby Jones, and I'm excited to return next year with a brand new word and the same mission to highlight real stories, real people, and real purpose. If you believe in the power of community storytelling, local media, and relationship-based journalism, I invite you to support the work of Empower Media Exchange. And I thank you for listening. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and have a very happy new year.
Support comes from Boulder Food Rescue, working to create a more just and less wasteful food system by rescuing food that would be wasted and redistributing it to communities living with food insecurity. More information can be found at boulderfoodrescue.org.
Support from the production of Economic Update comes in part from Democracy at Work, a nonprofit 501c3 organization and publisher of books by Richard Wolff, who is a professor of economics emeritus at UMass Amherst and a visiting professor at the New School University, has authored numerous books on the subject of social economics, including Rethinking Marxism, Understanding Capitalism, and Democracy at Work, A Cure for Capitalism. Further information is available at democracyatwork.info and rdwolf.com.